Pay attention. Finally, Stephen A. Smith or one of these media head shows finally has somebody who can speak some common sense to some things going on in the W. They got Candace Parker was on the show this morning on First Take. And of course, Stephen A. browbeats her with the praise and makes it sound a lot more complicated than it is, but that's the way he does things. It is what it is. But listen to Candace Parker's answer to the question. And to me, it's that simple. And it's something that I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. We'll get to that in a second. But here's Stephen A. and then listen to Candace Parker.
Speak to that collective frustration that some may have been feeling and whether or not you think it's something that's being overcome as you all thrive and move forward and continue to promote and uplift this league.
You know, it's so crazy to me because I'm asked so many times if I'm resentful in any type of way for where the WNBA is right now. My job was to leave the game better than I came into it. You think Cheryl Miller is resentful for me that I had a league to play in? No, she's being the mentor that she is, and she's supporting and loving and sitting courtside cheering on Juju Watkins. And I'm doing the same for Caitlin Clark and all the women in the WNBA. You know, I think that rivalry is super important. I think conversation is super important. You know, I tuned in when Kevin Durant went back and played Russell Westbrook and they bumped shoulders and everybody was tuned in. But I want to keep it within the lines of the game. And I think that's what's the most important. Now everybody has a Twitter finger. Everybody can have reach to, the WNBA and make comments. But really the key is let's keep it about basketball.
And that's it in a nutshell, man. Just keep it about basketball and everything will work itself out. Didn't I say that? Keep it about basketball. It's not complicated. Let's not make it complicated. The people that want to start narratives, start the narratives. But if you're not about that, you ain't got to feed into it. You don't have to press in. You don't have to respond. You don't have to look at it. You can ignore it. That is an option. The only winning move is not to play. You can do that. The problem is most people have to say something. They want to say something. You get so caught up into just having something to say, you never thought about if you should, or if you do say something, what are you going to say? And if it's going to make any sense. Everybody just wants to get in the conversation to say that they was involved in the conversation. Nobody's bringing anything to the table. It's a whole bunch of piggybacking. You ever been in a meeting, in a big meeting, and somebody brings up a good point, and then there'll be about 3 or 4 other points that begin with to piggyback what she said, to piggyback what he said. Well, you don't need to piggyback. They just made the point. You just want to be heard. If you piggyback it, that means you're saying the same exact thing that somebody just said. And that's what a lot of this content is. They're just trying to feed into the narratives, or they're trying to start a narrative, or they're just trying to stir up the trouble because, let's be real, negativity still will bring in the clicks. And there's a lot of people capitalizing off of that. So they sticking to the formula. You got people that's running around here creating content like they a 12-year-old tattletale. There's people that's creating content that, regardless of what Caitlin Clark does, is because they don't want to give Angel Reese her props. Regardless of whatever Angel Reese does, is because not give the props to Caitlin Clark. It's always something. Just keep it about basketball. If Angel Reese gets them rebounds, she got them rebounds. If Caitlin Clark hits that logo 3, she hit that damn 3. If Caitlin Clark has too many turnovers, she turned the ball over too many daggone times. Keep it about basketball. And it'll play itself out. But everybody got to have something to say. Everybody want to feed into the narrative. And the one thing that I've discovered is that it is not my job to convince you one way or the other. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. You ain't got to have mine. But at the end of the day, when they get on the court and play them games, that's how you going to find out what's what. It ain't about what you think. It ain't about whose point is better. Ain't none of that. It's going to play itself out one way or the other. And people still going to argue anyways. So when you see my videos and you see that logo at the end of all of my videos now, you'll know what I'm talking about. Keep it basketball.